Hey guys, welcome to my very first cooking video. This is my Cuban Ropa Vieja. I hope you guys enjoy. It's one of my favorite recipes. Alright guys, so first things first, you're going to need 2 to 3 pounds of flank or flap steak. You can also use chuck roast steak, but I prefer the flank just because it's a lot thinner and easier to shred up towards the end once it's all done cooking. You're also going to need salt, oregano, cumin, adobo seasoning. If you don't have this, you can also use complete seasoning. White wine, you want to make sure it is cooking wine. A can of tomato puree as well as tomato paste. Garlic, 1 green pepper, 1 red pepper, and a yellow onion. Alright, let's get started. So first things first, I have an 8-quart oval crock pot. You can buy this anywhere, Amazon, on the actual crock pot website. I believe Walmart has it too. You just want to get something big enough to be able to fit the 2 to 3 pounds of meat inside. So first things first, I'm just going to open the package up and take out the meat. Alright, so as you can see here, most of the time these flank steaks usually come all folded up like this. So it is a big strip of steak that you are going to get. Now, you do want this to cook evenly in the crock pot, therefore I'm just going to be cutting off this little excess here just so everything fits inside nicely. Alright, now I'm going to be seasoning the meat with the adobo seasoning. Once again, if you don't have this, you can use sazon completa, which is complete seasoning. You can season it with salt and pepper, really whatever is to your taste. I just love this seasoning so much. So I'm just seasoning that front and back and placing it inside the crock pot. So this piece was a bit big as well, so I just went ahead and cut it in half just to make sure everything fit nicely in the crock pot and it cooks evenly. Next step, you want to go ahead and slice up your green pepper. Just make sure you're cutting pretty thin strips. You don't really want thick ones. And just placing that right on top of the meat. Now I'm just chopping up my red pepper, again slicing it pretty thinly. And throwing that in my crock pot as well. Time for the onion. So this is a pretty big onion, but it's a lot of meat that we're cooking, so you are going to need the entire onion. I just cut this in half and then in half again, and I'm just slicing it thinly. Then I just kind of like rub it between my hands to loosen up all the little pieces and throw that in my crock pot as well. Now I'm just mixing everything together, my onions, my green and my red pepper, just making sure everything is incorporated. Now for the garlic, you can never have enough garlic, at least for me. So you want to use about 6 to 8 cloves. Again, it's a lot of meat, so you really want to make sure that you're using a generous amount of all types of seasoning. And you want to just chop that up pretty finely. Place it right into your crock pot. Super easy. So I did forget something. You are going to need 3 tablespoons of olives. This is really personal preference. You can omit this if you want to. It's not a necessity, but I love olives, so definitely putting that in. Now I am going to start with the marinade. So I'm going to be putting in 1 cup of white cooking wine. I had a half a cup measuring cup, so I just put 2 of those in. You're also going to put in your tomato puree, the entire can. This is 28 ounces. As well as your tomato paste. This is a 6-ounce little can. This is going to help thicken the marinade. Alright, time for the seasoning. 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of dry oregano, 1 teaspoon of salt, and again, forgot another one, 1 teaspoon of granulated sugar. Mix everything together. Then you're just gonna pour everything right on top of your meat and your veggies and your olives. It's so good. It already smells incredible in my house. Pop the lid on, and we're gonna cook this on low for 8 hours or high for 4, and that's it. See you in 8 hours. Alright you guys, so your house should be smelling incredible at this point. It's now been 8 hours and I'm getting ready to pull out all of the steak and I'm going to start shredding it. So as you can see here, I'm just checking to make sure that it is fully cooked. It's completely like falling apart, which is great because that means that it's cooked perfectly how you want it. So here I'm just going to be removing all of the meat from the pot. Want to make sure you get every little piece. Alright, so now I'm just placing the lid back on and I'm ready to shred. So I like to shred my meat between 2 forks. You can really do this any which way, but I feel like this is the best way that has worked for me. You could even use like a hand mixer on the low speed to shred it, but again, this has been my go-to way. So just want to make sure that everything is broken up and shredded evenly and nice and thinly, and then you're going to throw everything right back in the pot as you see me doing. And now you're just going to stir everything together, make sure it's all incorporated and it's completely covered in all the juices. I'm just showing you here the consistency of the juice and what the meat should be looking like at this point. Alright you guys, so that is pretty much it for this recipe on my Ropa Vieja. I like to pair it with sweet plantains as well as white jasmine rice. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I also have a video on how to make these sweet plantains, so if you're interested in that, please let me know and I will post that for you guys. Until next time, thanks again guys. See you in the next video.